Hello there, and welcome to Hammerman for today, July the 17th. We are kicking it off with Stage 1. Once again, we were actually coming back from being out of town, and I kind of fell asleep in the car. And once I got home, I was like, alright, I gotta get at work on this Hammerman. I gotta get it out there. I gotta get it done. So it was kind of a half asleep, not really paying attention beard when I started recording this. And as you can see, it's my regular base. I forgot to switch up to the Hammerman base. And honestly, it was still successful. It was fine, like, not a big deal. The biggest difference, at least at Stage 1, is the sheer amount of time that it takes to finish off these first couple of troops. Excuse me. I feel like with the I guess Stage 1s normally, I can plow through them in a few seconds, but this one, like, just kind of goes on. It takes a while. I don't know. Interesting food for thought thing, I guess. But let's move on to Stage 2. Overall, the War Factory, surprisingly easy this week. It was kind of like a nice little week off. Now, there are a crazy number of riflemen that come along with the tanks in Stage 2, but as long as you got, like, machine guns and flamethrowers and stuff, you should be able to fry those riflemen no problem. And then if you, basically on the south end of the beach, put all your rocket launchers and mortars and stuff like that. On the top end of the beach, put your boom cannons, your sniper towers, and stuff like that, because all the cannons end up going up towards the north end, and all the riflemen and stuff go through down at the south end. And if you're like a really low level, you're kind of like barely making it past Stage 2. I don't know what level you'd be, but if you're really low level and barely making it past Stage 2, that should hopefully help make your life a little bit easier. And then we've got Stage 3, which, again, actually almost the exact same thing. So you're going to have to leave some machine guns and flamethrowers around to take out the warrior rush, but once that warrior rush is gone, it's all just tanks. So if you moved all your rocket launchers down to the very south end, like, they'll be able to still use their range to assist with the warriors, but they'll be able to target and fry all of the Zookas and Riflemen and stuff that are landing there. And your cannons and your sniper towers and your boom cannons and stuff over at the north end will just slowly, like, pick off the cannons as they do their thing. Whew! Okay, now we're going to move on to Stage 4, if I remember correctly. And I actually want to make sure that Stage 4 is the Stage 4 I'm thinking of. Okay, perfect, it is. Because it shows, like, obviously on the thing, heavies, riflemen, Grens, and I was worried it was going to be, like, 1 or 2 boats of heavies, 1 or 2 boats of riflemen, and then the rest Grens. So I was really worried about my composition, I guess, but it worked out fairly wellish, I guess. But honestly, this, like, Stage 4 did more damage to my layout than Stage 5. Like, I took some heat. These Grens do some serious work. And the worst problem is, because they're landed with all those heavies, you gotta have the sniper towers and the boom cannons and everything right up there, right ready and getting involved. Like, there's no really nice, easy way to get at them. And then by the time you can actually get at them, you got all these freaking tanks in the way. So it might be the best idea to leave your high single target damage stuff a little further back. That way your flamethrowers and your machine guns can burn up all of the riflemen that come out in, I guess, Wave 2? And partially, Wave 2? Or Wave, the earlier wave. And then your sniper towers and stuff can hopefully finish off the Grens by the time it gets to the end of the attack. Now, Stage 5, which, like I was saying, almost seemed a lot easier than the previous attack. So just a bunch of riflemen and warriors rolling all up in to the, I guess, north end, and then finally some hookah just to finish it off, so that, you know, we've got our full variety. But yeah, I don't know, it's weird. Like, I probably would have had a lot more problems getting through stage 4 as a lower level base than I did with getting through stage 5. I don't know why Supercell does that. They're crazy, I don't know. Anyways, all said and done, stage 4 isn't too horrible. If you switched it up to a slightly different base, probably something more like my Hammerman base, or sorry, my ham sandwich base, which would be a Hammerman base. I guess they're all technically Hammerman bases, but the ham sandwich is like targeted towards taking out those heavies and stuff in the first round, and then the snipers in the second round. It might make life a little bit easier. I just don't know if it would be able to clear through the riflemen interspersed in there quite as easily. But let's move on to stage 6, which actually, it's kind of super awkward, because with this stage 6, I ended up actually having to use my Hot Pocket, which, if you noticed before I was zooming in, it's sitting way over by the HQ, and the reason for that is because I got my butt handed to me, but that is because I didn't quite set up properly. So what happens in that first wave is you get a whole bunch of heavies and the Scorcher, and then in second wave you get more riflemen and Zookas. Obviously third wave, more riflemen and Zookas. And what I really should have done, or, well, had I failed, what I would have done is swap rows 1 and 2, and I'm not including the, like, non-defensive building row, which would technically be, like, row 0 or row 1, whatever. But if you flip those, what's going to happen is your sniper towers and your cannons and everything are going to be on the first row. They're going to be hitting all those heavies and the Scorcher and whatnot at first, and then as those heavies die, the riflemen and the Zookas are going to roll in, but instead of rolling into sniper towers, they'd roll into your flamethrowers, your machine guns, and those defenses are just going to absolutely shred them. So for stage 6, definitely switch those 2 rows up out of my layout. Like, if you roll the same layout and just do that, you'll probably get a win, and you should be able to get the win without needing the Hot Pocket. Because honestly, like, Hammerman this week is easy enough. You don't even need a prototype defense. Obviously, I ended up kind of defaulting onto it just because I was like, well, there it is, whatever. But I'm pretty sure, like, if you were careful enough and you kind of rearrange things and you know, rearranged your base to accommodate shocks and critters and whatnot, you should be able to absolutely ruin the Hammerman. And not awkwardly sit there with 3 troops shooting away at your HQ. I'd like to point out, actually, now that I'm looking at them, look at, they're brown. They're wearing brown pants. If there's one thing I've learned from Deadpool, there's one reason to wear brown pants. And I don't blame them, because let's be honest, they probably saw like 100 of their friends just get roasted by the Hot Pocket. But fortunately, they were wearing the brown pants, so it's okay, it's cool. We're good, it's cool. Alright, stage 7, a whole bunch of ants, and fortunately, the Zookas land first, so as you can see, they roll forward, they basically, like, skewer themselves on the mines, and you can just see all those Zookas just getting fried. And thank goodness, because if they didn't get fried, like, they could do some insane damage. But not a big deal. The Warriors roll in round number 2 along with a bunch of riflemen, and as you can see, the defenses have absolutely no problem working their way through that. I guess I could have rearranged a little better to get rid of some of those critters, but I was like, you know, I'm not that worried about it. And again, fortunately, I had the Hot Pocket sitting over there near my HQ. Now, I'm sure that had I put forth the effort, I could have turned this into a prototype-less defense, but I think it would have been tougher. It would have had to have been one of those, you know, nugget bases with the sea with a little clump of shock launchers and rocket launchers and stuff over by the HQ just to, like, run everything around and let the rocket launchers kind of polish things off. But I do think it's 100% doable. Like, you can see here, all of these troops are so badly hurt just by getting through the defenses. Like, if they were that badly hurt and had to go through all this with rocket launchers firing on them, oh my goodness, right? Like, it would just toast them, kind of like the Hot Pocket's doing. Anyways, guys, thanks very much for watching. Hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully it has been entertaining. And above all else, hopefully you guys have a fantastic day taking down the Hammerman.